Hey everybody, welcome to the SkyLounge podcast, episode number 135, and as always, thank you so much for joining me today and listening in. If you are new, welcome, and check out some of the other episodes on the page. All episodes are available on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Music, so make sure you're subscribed so you can get notified for a new episode every Tuesday. Make sure to follow me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook at the SkyLounge. Stalk me on Snapchat at DA13, IG, 5EUNG. And now buckle in, kids. Let's get started because this is going to be a long one. The topic of the week this week, Eternal Night Fandom, Big Monthly Adventure, Stanley Cup Playoffs, Round 1. The Vegas Golden Knights lose in a 7-game series against the San Jose Sharks in the first round of the Stanley Cup Playoffs. This one still hurts. It still fucking hurts. You know, the how is just infuriating and heartbreaking to mention, but it really drives the narrative this episode, right? So let's talk about this. The Vegas Golden Knights blew this series. They absolutely blew this series. I'm about to subject myself to the deadpan facts that I have repeated to myself so many fucking times. It doesn't even hurt anymore. Right? In terms of stating the facts, it doesn't hurt, but the emotional side of it's heartbreaking. Right? But here we go. Let's fucking talk about it. Let's open up fresh wounds, put some salt in that shit, fucking throw limes, and goddamn tequila. Because Cinco de Mayo's coming up soon, bitches. So why not, right? The Golden Knights had a 3-1 series lead with an opportunity to close out in Game 5 and Game 6 at home. They shit the bed in Game 5 and got unlucky in Game 6. In Game 7, the Golden Knights had a 3-0 lead in the third period with less than 8 minutes to go in the period and conceded 4 power play goals on a 5-minute major penalty for Cody in 4 minutes and 4 seconds. I cannot make this shit up right now, kids. Okay? And yes, in the remaining period when we were down 4-3, Jonathan Marchessault tied it back up to make it 4-4. In overtime of Game 7, our defense shit the bed, and Fleury let in a really soft goal. And here's a fact for me. Losing sucks. Losing sucks. Okay? Like it's fucking obvious, right? As fans, there's so much emotional reprieve and catharsis when we experience a win. A win is so damn delicious. It's so damn satisfying. But when we lose, it feels like our heart shatters and the world falls apart. Like, we can't accept it, we can't embrace it, and we blame others and don't look inwards. Me, I get depressed as all hell. I swear to you, man, for a week straight now, almost a week straight now, I don't even want to think about fucking hockey. Like, not to that extent that I've been doing during the playoffs, but my God, man, it was so fucking heartbreaking to experience this shit. And here's the thing. This whole depression shit, it kills you inside, right? And so, yeah, like a lot of the Vegas Golden Knights fan right now, because they're feeling all this negative emotion inside them and really don't know how to process this shit like the grown-ass people that we should be, we are blaming this on the refs. The Vegas Golden Knights fans are blaming the series loss solely to the refs, which is curious. There are certain fans who are doing that right now. And here's the thing. I get it. All right? The amount of times I've heard it's not a major, it's kind of, it changed the whole face of the series. Like, no. One really bad call in one game, in one moment, does not make the excuse of conceding 4 fucking goals in 4 minutes and blowing a series where you had control of the series at 3-1. That's the fucking baffling part to me right now. That absolutely is the baffling part. And where fans are insinuating that the referees are just out to get, it's like, no. Like, the reality is the series had a whole bunch of missed calls and shitty officiating. And trust me, I'm not a Sharks apologist. I fucking hate the Sharks. All right? But the fact still stands. Vegas blew the series. We blew the series. We could bitch about refs all we want, but the fact is we blew the series. And I know it's frustrating. I mean, you could hear it in my voice. I'm frustrated. It sucks. Losing fucking sucks. But guess what, guys? This is sports ball. This is what sports is all about. You lose, you win, you lose. You'll lose a lot, but that's the whole process, right? And cheering your team after losing is what separates fans from casuals. This is what differentiates us. I've lost count of how many people are saying this team is shit. Like, do you have any idea how many fucking people that are actually Vegas Golden Knights fans? Because of this loss. After 2 years in franchise, existing, this franchise existing, they are telling me, oh, this franchise is the worst. They don't want to cheer for this team. They expect a cup every fucking year. And every loss is just fire everybody. We should cut everybody. I heard people say, we got to cut Cody Eakin. I'm like, well, if you actually look into it, if you're a fan and if you know anything about the team, his contract is probably going to be up this year. And I believe his contract was going to be up, and he's going to be an unrestricted free agent or RFA, if I'm not mistaken. So there's that little aspect. But listen, if you get so emotionally riled up to the point where you say fire everybody, like, that's not how this shit's going to work, okay? Especially a franchise that's only existed in fucking 2 years. Like, we're only year 2, goddammit, and we are... Okay, really wrap your head around this right now, okay? The Vegas Golden Knights have been in existence for 2 years. 2 years. And we have made it to the playoffs in back-to-back years. I mean, that's something incredible. Right? And as Vegas Golden Knights fan, we really do have to acknowledge that. People were stating since the beginning of this team that this team was going to be terrible. Hockey was never going to work in the desert. But look where we're at now. We're having first world complaints about the Stanley Cup playoffs. We had the first world complaint about the Stanley Cup finals last season, but that's because we were kind of lucky to be in it. I mean, we had a really great year. This year was just a fucking dick puncher. We fucked it up, and it hurts. And I know people will get emotional and say some dumb shit like, I'll never cheer for this team. And here's the thing, cheering a team because they're good, winning or winners is fucking easy. That's why Vegas garnered so many fans, so many casual fans throughout its 2 years right now. And this, to me, is this moment right here. This series that we just lost. This is the most pivotal part in fans for all of us right now. That's what I truly think. Because the hardest thing is when your team is bad, losing or losers. That's the real challenge. That's when you differentiate yourself as a fan. That's when you make yourself known as a fan. And trust me, nobody's saying it's easy. Okay? Nobody is saying this is easy. To follow a team when they're terrible, or to follow a team when they're consistently terrible, right? We know sports fans like that. There are sports fans all over the country, all over the world, who may be cheering a team that are just so fucking bad or just so goddamn infuriating to watch. But trust me, man. That's part of sports ball. That's part of being a fan. And here's the thing. The Vegas Golden Knights blew it, yes. But they, nor the fans, shouldn't be feeling sorry about themselves, nor prolonging their thoughts on a series that's done. In life, what do you do when you make a mistake or some bullshit happens? You learn, you grow, and you move on. Same thing with the Knights. We got to get it in our heads, guys, that we can't win every year. We will lose. Sometimes in the worst fucking ways. Blowing a 3-1 series lead is never a fucking good thing. It really never is. But we're in for the ride, man. And Vegas fans, I'm telling you right now, it sucks right now. But this will make it all the better when we eventually climb up that hill and win. Because losing is part of the experience. Losing is the best thing that could happen sometimes. Because that's when you can understand more about yourself, more about what you can do to improve. Same could be said for a team. And so Vegas Golden Knights fans, yeah, come back next year. Right? I know a lot of fans right now want to bandwagon to another fucking team, buy some jersey. Oh, let's cheer for Colorado. Oh, let's cheer for Boston. No. If you're a fan of one team, that's your team. You're going to have to stick to it. Stick it out. Because I'm telling you, the taste of winning is that much worth it after losing in games and series like this. So, hey, it is what it is, guys. Go Knights, go. And ultimately, year 2 of the Vegas Golden Knights finished in a morbid fashion. But we're going to keep on trucking until next year. Right? We're going to keep on trucking for next year. Now, I had a blast at all these games, home games that I went to in this series. You know, games 3, 4, 6. Season's done. So we're going to come back next year. Vegas Golden Knights fans, stick around, man. I'm telling you. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. All right? So go Knights, go. Go Knights, go. Go Knights, go! All right, guys. So, let's move on to some souse. Yes! Sports and other weird shit. I know! I haven't done a proper souse in so long. I feel like I say this every 2-3 weeks? Yeah, I am the model of consistency, all right? At least there's a fucking episode out. Except that one time. God, I'm getting derailed, guys. So all game match reviews are on the YouTube page at the SkyLounge, so make sure you check that shit out for more detailed shit. Arsenal. Oh my god. Okay, it's not even a take for Arsenal. This whole fucking thing with Arsenal these last few weeks has been 3 consecutive losses in the Premier League, yet qualifying for the semifinals of the Europa League. How more ass backwards is this fucking squad? I don't know. The race to the 4th spot in the Premier League is kind of a joke at this point. Nobody wants it between Chelsea, Spurs, Manchester United, and Arsenal. And it's driving me nuts. It's driving me fucking nuts. And what's making it worse, what's exasperating this point just a little bit further, is the fact that there were some awful news that came out in the last few weeks with Arsenal. Aaron Ramsey injured his hamstring during the match against Napoli. Shut down for the remainder of his Arsenal career, which, again, need I remind you, he is going on a free transfer over to Juventus in Italy during the summer. So it's really bittersweet to see that, because we're never going to get to see Rambo play on the pitch again. And I love this guy. Like, this is the guy who finally ended the cup drought in the FA Cup final, 2014. Incredible fucking goal. This guy will be remembered forever for the Arsenal faithful. All right, the Gunners will always remember Aaron Ramsey for everything he's done, but it's a shame to see his career snuffed out in Arsenal because of an injury, and that was his problem throughout his career here. So it sucks to see that, and to continue the suckery, Denis Suarez shut down for the season after being loaned to do literally nothing but sit on the bench. Like, literally, he did nothing but sit on the bench. Like, what a fucking waste of a signing. Holy shit. It was just perplexing how every week, in and out, never in the lineup. And there we go. We just wasted another fucking signing. At least it was a loan, so we don't have to fucking worry too much about that on the financial aspect. So, hey! Instead of bashing my head about what's, bugging me the fuck out about Arsenal in the past, let's talk about the future. Let's talk about next week. Europa League semifinals, leg 1 versus Valencia, May 2nd. That's going to be a doozy of a match. First match at home, second match, in Valencia. That is going to be real tough. We remember what happened against Atletico Madrid last season in the semifinal. Now we got another La Liga team in the semifinals, and I am terrified. I am genuinely terrified, but we got to keep at it. We got to keep our focus and get this home win done right. Now, Premier League week number 37 is approaching versus Brighton and Hove Albion on Wouldn't you know, Cinco de Mayo on Sunday. So come on, you Gunners. Let's get some shit in. Now, there's a lot of football news going around. Obviously, talking about the Europa League, we obviously do have the Champions League going on right now. Europa League, most European domestic leagues are going on, domestic cups. So everything is going on, but it's also now coming to a close, with the exception of the MLS in the United States, which kind of just started. And that's a whole fucking thing. So in the next few weeks, we're going to see a lot of promotions. We're going to see a lot of relegations, semifinals, and finals. But just reminding you, we're in the end game now for football. Think about that shit. Now, Seahawks. The NFL draft for the Seattle Seahawks. I gotta say this outright right now. John Schneider and Pete Carroll, a pair of mad geniuses. I mean, turning 4 picks and a Frank Clark to 11 picks. Let me repeat that again. Going from 4 picks and a Frank Clark to 11 picks in the 2019 NFL draft. Holy fuck. Like, kudos to John and Pete for doing a great job on the draft. I honestly haven't really, paid attention the last few years, when we were drafting these young cats. But I don't know, especially with the way I was watching football the last season, I feel like I owe it to myself to, be a part and study up, understand, research the draft, because it will matriculate towards the next season and how important certain squads are going to look and how we can look at ourselves as a Seattle Seahawks fans. So, hey, it's been awesome. And I was holding my phone in anticipation each and every time Seattle made a pick. And this was a fun draft. If you're a Seattle Seahawks fan, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to read each and every one of these draft picks out. I know it's going to be long. I know it's going to drag out. But guess what, motherfuckers? I'm telling you, this class looks great. I think if we can just insert everybody in, get into training camp, keep everybody relatively healthy, we're going to be blasting people away. And I truly do believe that. I really do believe that. But here's the thing. Let's go with our 11 picks. Good Lord. So spread out, too. First round, LJ Collier, defensive end, number 29. Second round, we took Marquise Blair, safety, at number 15 in the second round. And also in the second round, we took my boy DK Metcalf at number 32, wide receiver. Woo! In the second round, man. Okay, so for me personally, I watched the NFL Combine, and this whole thing came up on my recommendation video, and it was this cat named DK Metcalf. He was breaking all sorts of records in the Combine, and yes, there were some issues about his injuries, neck injury, but supposedly he was the most physically dominant player that was in this draft, but the neck injury really did drop him several picks in the NFL draft. But also to add along with this, whenever they make the draft picks, they always do those cameras where they have it in the the draft room for the individual organization and the player that gets selected. And DK Metcalf's was just beautiful, because he breaks down. The guy fucking breaks down and he says, "What took y'all so long?" And I lost my shit, because I'm like, dude, you waited so long, but it was worth it, because now you're with us. And I know it's just preseason hype. It's not even preseason. It's NFL draft hype, but I'm so excited for this cat. This is a big dude. He's going to catch, fucking bombs from Russell Wilson. But let's continue, because there's a lot of great picks that we made. And we're only 3 picks in. We still got 8 we have to name out here. So in the third round, the Seattle Seahawks selected linebacker Cody Barton at number 25 in the third round. In the fourth round at number 18, we took Gary Jennings Jr. at wide receiver. Again, I heard really good things about this cat from a lot of those scouting reports. And, you skim scouting reports and claim, this is good. But as a fan, you just get excited, because these are new cats, young cats. And if we continue this, there's kind of a trend with the Seattle Seahawks and how they did in this draft. And we'll talk about that a little later. And in the fourth round also, number 22, Phil Haynes, guard, was selected, along with number 30, Ugo Amadi at safety in the fourth round as well. In the fifth round, we took Ben Burr-Kirven at number 4, linebacker. looking great. I mean, a lot of the linebackers that we took in Ben Burkervin and Cody Barton supposedly are really fantastic linebackers from almost a lot of these scouting reports. That a lot of times, you can't completely rely on scouting reports, but you see a lot of the positive shit and what we can potentially see from that for what the organization could do for them. It's awesome. And again, Pete Carroll, John Schneider, these guys draft, and Pete Carroll is able to mold these guys to play to the best of their abilities and just focus on their assets, right? I'm kind of quoting that from him verbatim, but that's generally how this whole Seahawks approach works. And I'm just saying it has been working for quite some time. So just saying. So we got Ben Burkervin. 6th round, we selected Travis Homer, running back, number 32. Adding to that line, the running back depth, looking great. 6th round at number 37, DeMarcus Christmas, defensive tackle. Definitely needs some kind of depth there with a lot of the shit shifting, Frank Clark leaving the Seattle Seahawks, all of that stuff. And 7th round, we actually traded a 2020 pick for this, John Ursua, another wide receiver at number 22. So there you have it, our 11 draft picks. I know I kind of stuttered on those a little bit. Hey, it happens. But again, this, to me, all these picks says to me that Seattle understands that the financial structure of this organization is predicated on Russell Wilson. And in my opinion, more than likely in the future, Bobby Wagner. Those two guys are going to pretty much... I'm going to just throw a number in the ballpark here. Probably a little under 30% of the salary cap. So those two guys alone are going to take so much of that space that we need to have young pieces. And to go from 4 picks and a Frank Clark to 11 picks that all seem like viable options in the near future is a fantastic thing for the Seattle Seahawks. And I think John and Pete deserve a tremendous amount of applause for what they did in this draft. Whether the picks work out or not, I just think the way they have set this draft up, despite all the kind of chokeholds that we've had, years previous and months leading up to it and shit, this is looking great. And the Seattle Seahawks furthered their roster move by trading for Jacob Hollister, tight end, for the 2020 7th round pick to the New England Patriots. And for me, it's not a bad and here's it's not bad. It's definitely good, but it's one of those things where it's in the middle. That's what I'm trying to say, right? And he's from the Patriots. Yeah, everyone says, oh, he has a ring, but Belichick didn't really play him, so. Would paying for a 7th round pick be too much? We'll find out. But hey, we added some more players in there. And it's a good timing too, because I don't want to talk about it, but we have to, because Doug Baldwin, wide receiver, may be unable to play again due to multiple cumulative injuries throughout his career. Hence, we drafted so many wide receivers. What, 3? And this was a really sad thing to hear over the weekend when the NFL draft was going on. And I was bummed out. I was bummed out because Doug has been one of the key guys in our franchise. And really, I love Doug. He's going to get his jersey retired, period. I don't want to hear anything else about it. I really don't. 89 should absolutely be Doug's number. Undrafted free agent to arguably one of the best underrated receivers in the league. I mean, come on, man. I'm so excited. I'm so excited though, because despite the injury of Doug Wilson, Jesus, I'm marrying names now, right? Doug Baldwin. I guess I've married the names because I'm so used to Wilson to Doug or Wilson to Baldwin, which I don't know. But yeah, it's exciting because on one hand, yes, I talked about the NFL draft where we drafted all these players that the future looks great, but it's sad. It's bittersweet because it's when I say it's the potential leaving or retirement of Doug Baldwin is the start of the end, right? I mean, he's been in an organization for so long, and yeah, I guess it's a bit of a mixed feeling because everything the Seahawks have been doing have been so great, but this news just it's devastating. So let's just hope for the best for Doug, and hope he comes out of this strong, no matter what decision he makes, and just all us 12s, we love him. So hopefully we don't hear too much of the negatives moving forward from Doug. But hey, Seattle Seahawks had a great draft. I know we had that little bit of a bummer news, but we're going to have a good future. So, guys, go Hawks. Let's fucking get it. Because we got to talk about other NFL news. We got to talk about other NFL teams. Other significant NFL news. Sebastian Janikowski is retiring from the NFL after 19 seasons. He was in Seattle for one season, last season, 2018. And the last thing I'll ever remember about him is the fact that he cramped up his legs, in the NFC wildcard match against the Dallas Cowboys right before halftime. And that was the last time he was on the field. That's fucking crazy. But, hey, congratulations on such an illustrious career. And it really would have been nice if this cat got a ring. But sometimes it doesn't work out like that. But congratulations on such an amazing career, Sebastian Janikowski. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs, the darlings of last season, are getting a lot of headline news for multiple reasons, good and bad. Mostly bad, but let's talk about the goods first, right? As mentioned, the Chiefs traded Frank Clark for a first in 2019 and second in 2020 to the Seattle Seahawks. Go Hawks! And furthermore, Frank Clark was then signed to a 5-year, $105.5 million contract. Congrats to the money, big guy. Congrats to the money, big guy. Yeah, congrats to the money, right? And congrats on the big guy for making that money. Because this cat is fantastic, man. I love Frank Clark. And Chiefs fans, you just got a hell of a player that devours quarterbacks for fun. So best of luck to you. Best of luck to Frank. Because that defense from Kansas was abysmal last season. So you're going to need every fucking help you can get. But on the offensive side, you have the man, the myth, the legend, Patrick Mahomes, the second of his name, will be on the front cover of Madden 20. He's on the cover! Yay! And I'm happy for him. I am happy for him. He looks great. Just wish they put the Kermit face instead of his face. But that's just a fan wish. That's just me. Kids, that's just me. And, with all this positivity, we got to bring it back down, right? Got to bring on some serious and fucked up news with the Kansas City Chiefs. Because, yeah, I brought you guys up. But here it is. Tyreek Hill. Indefinitely suspended after audio clips of child abuse and domestic abuse evidence popped up. Yeah, and so police started, opening up the investigation again. And after listening to that audio tape, personally, it does not look great. It does not look great for Tyreek Hill. You're so fast, but you just could not process that in your brain that you shouldn't beat your child, right? Fucking Christ. You're such a fucking idiot, but hey, what do I know? What do I know? You're the millionaire, you're the guy who fucking runs the fucking ball, but beats his child. And I'm just a dude in his underwear recording a podcast episode. So there you go. There you go. It sucks, but it is what it is for the Chiefs. You got some good times, you got some bad times. Such is life. And that's the thing. Part of life, as an NFL fan, is the NFL draft, baby. Right? And lots of craziness for the last, for the 3 days of that NFL draft. Those last few picks were kind of nuts. But a couple of teams that got a decent number of picks, but some questions with one particular organization. And I feel like I shouldn't bully them, but I will. For the sake of my sanity. I haven't really talked to people about the Giants in quite some time. I'm a hermit, right? But here's the thing. The New York Giants. I'm rambling. But the New York Giants, there is no plan. Your GM is a fucking joke. You took Daniel Jones at number 6 when he wasn't even projected to be in the top 20. And I'm sure the kid will do fine. I'm pretty sure he's an athlete. He'll do fine. But here, there were so many fucking talents that you could have taken at number 6, elite level talents, and you completely blew it off, which is mind-boggling. It is absolutely mind-boggling. But hey, that's the New York Giants. Thinking that Eli's still the quarterback. Thinking trading OBJ and getting Jabril Peppers and a couple of meh picks is going to figure shit out. No, it's not. It's really not. He signed Golden Tate to this ridiculous contract. I don't know, man. Just looking at the New York Giants, I'm thinking, ugh, guys, y'all not looking so good. But that's their prerogative. I'm just letting you people know that I think the Giants fucked up. But that's the NFL draft. Some teams fuck up, some teams do well, and some teams just meh. And here's the thing. The NFL draft will be in Las Vegas next year in 2020, and I'm definitely thinking about going to this event next year. Because, why not rock the Seahawks gear in a Raiders town? Oh, God. I know, I got friends who are Raiders fans, all that shit, but I'm never going to wear Raiders shit. It's always going to be the Seattle Seahawks for me, but definitely thinking about going to that draft next year. So there you go, folks. NFL news for you, wrapped up in a cum box and splattered on your face. So let's move on to some Lakers news, which is always a slap in the face. Oh, hey, no playoffs. Magic, gone. An incompetent executive who honestly is pressured by an equally inept owner in Jeannie Buss. Luke Walton, gone. Then nearly sued for sexual assault in a murky-ass case. And I'm not sure what's actual facts and what's super sensitive opinions disguised as facts in this thing, so I'm just kind of not even going to touch this shit. So, there you go. Luke's gone. This whole fucking case shit happened after he was let go. So, there you have it. I'm good. Good. Well, not really, because you're a Lakers fan, right? Say you, but me. I'm a Lakers fan. So our fans' optimism is gone. We're gonna talk about Ty Lue coming back in the building, all the Rambus family doing this shit. Fuck, man. The Lakers give me an opposite of a boner, right? My dick goes in, it becomes a clitoris, and it's weird. It's weird. The Lakers are bumming me the fuck out. That's what I'm trying to say. But there's things going on in the NBA playoffs, and holy crap, there's almost little to no tension in these playoffs. I've probably catched 2 games in the first, I think at least 2 games in the first round. 1 full game in the first round for sure. That game 7 against the San Antonio Spurs versus Denver Nuggets, but I really haven't watched any full games. I'd probably watch half of it or a quarter, and I just leave. Because again, there's no tension in these playoffs. We kind of know what's going to happen, right? It's going to be the Warriors versus the Celtics. Ugh. But we got to talk about it. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the playoffs. We'll talk about the NBA playoffs, guys. We'll talk about the first round exit first. Western Conference, San Antonio Spurs. Legitimately baffling how the team didn't foul with 3 points down and less than 10 seconds left on the clock in a fucking game 7, no less. So to me, I thought this was going to be a team that would actually contest the Warriors because Greg Popovich is still the Night King, White Walker. Watch Game of Zones, kids, on YouTube via Bleacher Report if you have to, because my God, it's such a perfect comparison. But yeah, Greg Popovich is probably one of the only few coaches in the league I feel can really dismantle the Warriors. But we could blame LaMarcus, we could blame all these cats. But hey, thanks DeMar DeRozan, you just fucking had to do that shit. Had to just go 0 for 6 on the field. 0 for 6. But Spurs fans should rejoice because Pop signed on for a 3-year contract extension. And honestly, I could see a ring in the next 3 years because it's Greg Popovich. It's fucking Greg Popovich. So it's going to happen eventually, right? Unless he lost his mojo and it's just DeMar is just DeMar. Ugh. It's going to be a shame. But let's move on to some other first round exits. OKC Thunder. Surprise, surprise. Not really. No, not really. To get stabbed in the heart by Lillard in a game-winning 3-pointer, it just exclamation mark to a season that was relatively meh. Yeah, Westbrook averaged another triple-double. I congratulate the man. Absolutely amazing. But in the playoffs, none of that shit matters. The regular season doesn't mean jack shit when you come to the playoffs. And PG-13, Westbrook are going to be in this slumping depression in the same city for the next few years. I don't know if they'll ever win. And to me, this series kind of proved it. Like, you weren't good enough. Kind of surprised you were even... you weren't swept. But hey, let's move on to Utah Jazz. Did they even play? I know they won one game. Like, I don't even know if they played. Like, Donovan Mitchell was... Like, I'm genuinely baffled, like, what the fuck happened to this team. I don't even know. Utah Jazz, irrelevant. Clippers. Okay. So, you beat the Warriors twice on their home and couldn't do anything else. Congratulations. I'm sure that all the playoff participation badges you've collected over the years is impressive. But no rings. Wah, wah. Go fuck yourself, Clippers. Get the fuck out of here. Now, the Eastern Conference, a.k.a. the Leastern Conference. The Brooklyn Nets, you participated. Congratulations. Detroit Pistons, you participated. Congratulations. Orlando Magic, you participated. Congratulations. Indiana Pacers, you participated. Congratulations. There's nothing really to say about that Eastern Conference, right? Because the second round brings about a much more interesting playoff matchups. But at the same time, it just comes back to the whole statement of what I made of no tension. And here's the thing. The Houston Rockets versus the Golden State Warriors is a series right now. In the semifinals, no less. Which is a bummer, because the second round shouldn't be these two. It should be them in the finals. The Western Conference final, to be exact. But, yeah, this is what we got now, and I think Warriors are going to win it in 6. Possibly 7. And that's optimism for you Rockets fans, but I don't think that's going to happen. Now, the other series, Portland Trailblazers versus Denver Nuggets. Paper champions Trailblazers will show up and get eliminated. I think 6. Like, people discount the Nuggets, but the Nuggets are good. Nuggets are good. They are good. They will get the shit done. Young team, doesn't have any pressure on them. They'll just go out and play. Whereas Lillard and McCollum, these Portland guys, generally the same squad for a number of years, and you haven't done anything still. So, don't think anything's going to happen with the Trailblazers. They're a phony bunch. Now, the Eastern Conference, Boston Celtics versus the Milwaukee Bucks. The series is tied at 1-1 right now, as of today, really. But the Celtics, I believe, have the mental edge over the Bucks, and I believe 5 or 6 games the Boston Celtics will take this series. Now, the Philadelphia 76ers versus Toronto Raptors. Kawhi is going to destroy the 76ers in 5 or 6 games. I'd say 5. I would honestly go with 5. Yeah, Toronto is doing really well right now, and that is really attributed to Kawhi. I mean, the guy's insane. He shot, 70+% against 76ers a couple days ago? That was nuts. That was fucking nuts. But there you have it. The most interesting playoffs in sports right now. All right, let's talk about the Golden Knights for a quick bit, because, yes, we did talk about the Golden Knights in the topic of the week since, had to talk about the playoffs, had to talk about the first round. But as I did mention, I did go to 3 of the games out of the 7, and all home games, of course. But each and every time I had a blast. I know the one game that we lost in Game 6, it was a bummer, because I knew in Game 7 we were probably going to win. But, hey, that's neither here nor there. And I just, it's over. It's over. Fun series to participate in, to go to, but no playoffs. But we got news. So we have to move on. We have to move on to some Golden Knights news this week, because Bill Foley wants some rule changes. Yeah, he's still stuck on this whole thing. The 5-minute major. He wants major challenges. And, I love Bill Foley. I do. But I'm not in total agreement with this. I'm one of those guys that says, listen, man, just move on. The shit's done. You're just bringing this up. And, yes, the NHL did release an apology for the Vegas Golden Knights, but it just makes us look like a bunch of pussies. I know the right thing has to be done, but what's done is done. And again, what I've said before, officiating has been terrible on both sides in the series, and that's it. We talked about this. That's it. But there you go, Bill Foley. We love him, but sometimes we don't completely agree, right? But hey, there is something that Bill Foley said that did give me a chub here on a little pee pants. Third uniform, an alternate uniform, mind you, will be very likely for the 2019-2020 season based on what Bill Foley says. Excited. And I'm not sure what color scheme it will be, but I'm very curious to see how it'll look, right? I mean, how those color schemes of what we have right now, how those will fit in, how we're going to alternate colors and shit. So far, I only got an authentic Adidas James Neal home jersey and a plain white Fanatics, away jersey. So I need the authentic Adidas away jersey with the player name and a third authentic alternate jersey with a player name when, of course, that jersey comes out. And yeah, I'm thinking Schmitty. I'm thinking Mark Stone and maybe Marshy. I don't know. But yeah, Bill Foley dropping news, giving us some treats. And speaking of treats, guess who's going to the IIH. Wow, that's so fucking weird to say. IIHF World Championships is coming in May. And guess who's going, kids? Our three players, Shea Theodore, Jonathan Marchessault, and Mark Stone, have been selected to Team Canada to participate in the World Championships. Boys, congratulations on the selection. Go out there and kick ass, but not against the USA. All right? Because I'm cheering for the USA. I love the USA. 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 Hockey. Good shit. Now, moving on from the Vegas Golden Knights news to the NHL news. Go Knights, go. But hey, we got shit going on in the NHL right now, guys. Steve Yzerman, former player of the Detroit Red Wings, Hall of Famer, former Detroit Red Wings, was named GM of the Detroit Red Wings. Got a really good buddy of mine. He's a Detroit Red Wings fan, and understandably, he's been bummed out from the team's performance throughout the regular season these last few years. And yeah, there's a lot of optimism, I feel, with the Detroit Red Wings fans, because with the rebuild ahead, Steve Yzerman has been proven to be able to draft well. Be able to use scouting to his advantage and get the right players. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how this Detroit team gets rebuilt, how they will look moving forward. And so, guys, obviously we talked about how the Stanley Cup playoffs are going on right now, and it is an absolute fucking madhouse right now. And it's not even right now. It's not even just right now. The start of the playoffs to where we're at in the present moment, each and every fucking thing about it has been insane. And here's the thing. First time ever in the NHL, each division winners were knocked out by a wildcard team, including Calgary Flames, first seed and highest seed in the West, lost in 5 to the Colorado Avalanche. Nashville Predators stole the division from the Winnipeg Jets. It's the first seed, but fell apart to Dallas in 6 in OT. Ugh. Washington Capitals won their division, got it in, beat out the Islanders, had a 2-0 series lead, and somehow the Carolina Hurricanes punched your dick multiple times to win in 6. Oof. And here's the pièce de la résistance. Here it is, kids. The Tampa Bay Lightning. Oh man, I've been waiting to talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning for a long time. I have been waiting to talk about this fucking team. And I know, but you didn't release an episode. I know, that's on me. But here we go. I mean, honestly, even as a Knights fan, I can say this. Despite the Knights blowing a 3-1 series lead, a 3-0 lead with 7 minutes left, conceding 4 power play goals in 4 minutes and losing to a soft goal in overtime, I'd be, sad if we were the only team that got their dick punched like that. But fuck no. I'd be more fucking embarrassed if I was a Tampa Bay fan. I'm not kidding. If I was a Tampa Bay fan right now, I would be fucking embarrassed to wear anything right now. Y'all got swept to a team that barely got in the playoffs. Did I mention that shit? This team got swept. This team got fucking swept. 62 wins in a season. A 62-win season. One of the best historical seasons in NHL history. Do I have to repeat that again? Best season in NHL history. One of the best seasons in NHL history. And they got swept. In the first round. In the first round! Award categories galore, and you couldn't even win one fucking game. One. Kucherov for the Hart. Cooper for the Adams. Hedman for the Norris. Vasilevsky for the Vezina. You couldn't get one fucking win? You got swept? I mean, holy fucking shit. They led 3-0 for one period in game one. And after that, they couldn't do fucking anything. What a goddamn joke. Like, this makes me so fucking pissed. I'm not even a Tampa Bay fan, but I am pissed at the level of incompetence and irresponsibility from top to bottom of that organization. You have to look at that shit and think, really? That's all you could do? That's all you could muster? Everybody, including myself, said, this team can really go the distance. I picked them to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. I really did. I wasn't like everybody else just thinking, oh, they're going to win the Stanley Cup. No, I stupidly picked, the Pittsburgh Penguins who got swept too. But Tampa Bay, what is your fucking deal? What are you going to do after this shit? What is there to do? I'd say just pause everything for 2 years. Swept after 128 points. 120 fucking points for Kucherov. He couldn't score one. He couldn't score fucking one. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. And that's why these playoffs are amazing. They're absolutely amazing. I mean, Winnipeg, knocked out. Vegas, knocked out. Who else did we get knocked? Who else got knocked out there, right? You got Pittsburgh, knocked out. Washington, knocked out. We talked about Washington, though. I'm trying to think right now in my head. Why this series, this playoffs are so crazy. And it's because there's so many fucking underdogs. There's so many fucking comeback stories. And as much as I hate the Sharks, yeah, they're a comeback story. So now the second round matchups are just as juicy. And because in the Western Conference, you got the Colorado Avalanche versus San Jose Sharks. I mean, fuck the Sharks. Get the wins, Avs. Fuck them in the ass. But that's a crazy series. That's going to be a crazy series. The Dallas Stars versus St. Louis Blues. Already looking like an awesome series 3 games in. I mean, it's a fucking madhouse, each and every one of these games. And in the Eastern Conference, it doesn't get less crazier. Wait, it's a double negative. Trying to figure that one out. But in the Eastern Conference, kids, the Carolina Hurricanes versus the New York Islanders. The bunch of jerks are on a roll. 2 wins on the road in New York. It's going to be a fucking series. If the Carolina Hurricanes, however, sweep the Islanders, I will laugh my ass off. And my God, I am going to just watch Carolina just do some damage in the conference finals. Because I truly think they can do something incredible there. Because on the other side, you also got another pair of very curious teams there in Columbus Blue Jackets and the Boston Bruins. This series has been nuts already. 3 overtime periods between these two teams in the first 2 games. 1 OT in game 1 and 2 OTs in game 2. Nuts. So whoever comes out of this, whichever teams come out to the conference final, it's only good for the fans because we're in for a fucking treat, guys. And now NHL award nominees have been announced. Obviously, some of the easy stats have been more or less, been announced already. But we got a couple of other mentions that got matriculated too. An award show is going to be in Las Vegas, and I'm debating if I should go or not. Probably might go, but we'll have to see. We'll have to figure that out because the award show is in June, in the middle of the week, in summer, which is just, ugh. If I have to wear a suit on that shit, I will shit bricks. No, thank you. But we'll figure it out. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And we'll talk about the Dodgers right now because they're certainly a team that kind of got it figured out right now. It's one of their players, Cody Bellinger, breaking records out here. sets an all-time record with 37 RBIs before May 1st. Holy crap. The Dodgers are hot right now. And we still got a very, very long season ahead of us. So, lots of optimism here. Lots of optimism. Remember, guys, all weekly writing is in the links in the description below. Check that shit out. Weekly writing. I realized I haven't written in a fucking long time. Right? I realized that, guys. So I figured I make a sports commentary style writing for each movies that I just watched over the weekend, which knocks off 3 writings, 3 movies, 2 birds with 1 stone. Well, technically, 6 birds with 1 stone. I don't know, but we figured this shit out. That's all I'm saying. It was quite the rush to have 3 movies in the weekend and to write about that afterwards. It was fun. It was actually fun writing this stuff. And weekly writing number 10, satire/parody. These are all going to be satire/parody. Number 10, number 11, number 12. So the first one, Ant-Man and the Wasp highlights. Second one, Captain Marvel highlights. Avengers Endgame highlights for the last one. And thank goodness for Chinese theater rips being uploaded on YouTube so that I could take at least frame by frame look. Well, not frame by frame, scene by scene looks to write about the highlights between 2 sports commentators, a color commentator and a play-by-play guy. And I tried to do the best with Endgame, but I just feel like it just did not do itself well at all. Mainly because the movie just came out. And all the shit that's on YouTube right now, they're going to be taken down anyways. They're all choppy, and that's whatever. For me, I just had fun writing this shit. It was very, sports style. Copied a lot of the stylings from, NBC Hockey. Is it Doc Emmerich or whatever? And to try to wrap this up in a more eloquent way. I just had fun doing this. I had a really good time writing this out. So, hey, if you haven't already, click that shit. Click the fucking docs, the Google Docs, and you will be able to find all the weekly writing pages down there. Because, I reiterate this shit multiple times to you guys, right? And do you not listen? Do we have to have this fucking couple argument right now? I'm feeling like you're doing me a lot of disservice here by not clicking that link. But enough bullying. And let's just move on to the weekly films. And as I've talked about with the weekly writings, it was based on the weekly films. So we're going to talk about the 3 movies, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, and Avengers Endgame. So here we go, guys. Weekly film number 10, Ant-Man and the Wasp. So the plot, Ant-Man partners up with Dr. Pym and the Wasp to find Dr. Pym's wife in the quantum realm, but must stop multiple parties from stealing their devices. To be quite honest, there really was not much of a fucking point to the story, other than the fact that Marvel had to churn this movie out to get to Endgame somehow. And it kind of shows. The writing, I feel, wasn't as crisp. It wasn't as great as the first one. And yeah, we compare it all the time because that's kind of human nature, I guess. And some of the Marvel movies with sequels have been proven, actually 2, one, Captain America. The sequel is much, much better. But I'm just saying the writing wasn't all that great. That's just all I'm trying to say. And it's unfortunate because the movie lacks, any sort of substance in terms of plot, but what makes it kind of a little more is the characters. Like, I really couldn't understand, with a pretty spectacular cast list, I feel it came up short. Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Michael Pena, Michael Douglas, and more. But again, despite the list, I feel the game, the game was just kind of, okay, cool, we'll just wait till the next Avengers movie. We'll just kind of churn this shit out. And that really is disappointing because I expected a little bit more witty writing from since the first one, but it just did not happen. But at least with the visuals, still visually appealing from both visual and special effects. The expanding and shrinking is one of the coolest things to watch on screen. And it's very appealing to watch all that happen. And then in this one, to bring more screen time to the quantum realm was something that was really a welcoming part of this movie. I thought, okay, cool, this quantum realm thing, it's out there, and to have those fucking huge ass tardigrades move around and just floating in what seems to be legit space is really cool. It's a fun visual, and Marvel obviously throughout these years has just consistently stepped up their visual game, and this really is a really solid work on the visual department there. Music, Christoph, whatever. Beck composes an adequate track that accompanies the movie, and nothing crazy, but it gets the job done. That's all that matters sometimes. And for me, really, the miscellaneous shit about this whole movie was, it was kind of an infuriating movie despite all the potential the series has to offer. This movie just felt like, okay, we got this phase girl, we got the mercenary guy, we got also the FBI, and for whatever reason, it felt like a mess. And the story kind of felt like there was no point to it other than the fact that you just had to segue into the end game. And so if I had to put a number on this, I give this a 5. Or maybe a 5.5 on a good day. Ant-Man and the Wasp is an adequate, albeit at times a dragging and a much weaker sequel that still had a blast with its fun visuals. That's really all the compliment I could give it, but it was really one of the weakest Marvel movies out there. Now, weekly film number 11, Captain Marvel. So the plot revolves around a war between the alien races Kree and Skrull. And all these chain of events cause a Kree soldier named Vers to crash land on Earth and figure out her past and what the Skrulls' plans are. Now, very basic plot, very decent level of writing. I enjoyed it. And again, it was a solid ride of just, okay, cool. This has the same vibe of typical origin story, but it's a little more fun-paced, a little more good shit in between, because we've seen origin stories where they're just horribly dragging, and it feels like at least like the halfway point you're like, really, you're still not at the climactic fights. I feel like Captain Marvel at least paced itself well, and we're able to churn out decent storylines throughout. And really, the characters, I have to give a shout out to Brie Larson, as Captain Marvel is a solid lead and represents a shift for Marvel, making one of the most powerful characters in the universe a female. And shout out to Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck for making a pretty solid character here. And obviously, I mean, Brie Larson, award-winning actress, fantastic, and she really does embody this kind of leadership quality on screen, and just so charming. She's so charming to watch on screen. And minor thing about Endgame, but that I have to mention here, this movie was so impressive to me of Brie Larson and the Captain Marvel character that I was kind of irritated that Captain Marvel wasn't in Endgame more. That's how much I like this character. And again, shout out to Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck for creating that. And man, it's hard to do that, right? It's hard to create characters, but shout out to those guys. Got it down. Got it done. And Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. Whoa, CG face. That's right. Jackson's face was in CG the entire time. They digitally de-aged him. Like, he looks so good young. And you're looking at that, like, 95 Samuel L. Jackson. Oh my God. Jackie Brown? Pre-Jackie Brown, Samuel L. Jackson, but goddamn, that's Samuel L. Jackson in the 90s. That looks exactly like him. Wish he had the Jerry curls, but shit, he looks great. And here's the thing. Obviously, I love it, but to have, Jackson also just be a great sidekick on an adventure, when we're so used to him just being in the background, was a really nice addition. I really like the fact that we had a little bit more background with Nick Fury, a little more screen time with the Samuel L. Jackson's portrayal of Nick Fury, and how you eventually get to see Nick Fury, in the future films of how he gradually interacts with characters, metahumans, all this shit. And it's really cool. It's really cool to have these two cats be the main characters, because honestly, the other characters are nice, but really, those two are the absolute standouts. Yeah, I could talk about Jude Law. I could talk about Talos, the Skrull warrior, who's Ben Mendelsohn. I can't pronounce his name, but yeah, the other cast members were kind of whatever. But for me, the visuals are really cool. really cool visuals when they use Captain Marvel's cosmic rays on her enemies. And all the stuff from the Kree Empire is really cool to just look at. Some of the really authentic 90s vibe of LA was really appealing to watch on screen too. But this was dope. This was another visually solid Marvel movie, right? And this is kind of the theme with Marvel movies, where they just visually they knock shit out the ballpark. And music, another adequate soundtrack to match the film, composed by Pinar Toprak. And some miscellaneous shit that I want to talk about with this movie. Marvel's Green Lantern. Captain Marvel is basically Marvel's Green Lantern. I mean, and seriously, I don't hate it. I'm not bashing on it, but that's kind of the truth. Right? I know some people are going to say, is it Nova? They might say Nova with Nova Corps, but this straight up just felt like Marvel's Green Lantern. Much better, though, obviously. We don't talk about the movie Green Lantern. I'm talking about the comic character idea. But enough of the weird specificity. This movie really feels like Captain America, the First Avenger, where the movie is good on its own. It's not bad. It's good on its own. But it's only here as foreplay before Endgame. We all know that. We all know that. And so for me, I have to give this a 6.5. Really a 7. I give it a 7. Right? And not on a good day. It's just, I give this a 7. 6.5 feels a little low, but 7 feels alright. Maybe in between, but let's lean towards 7. And Captain Marvel is a fun adventure that is accompanied by a solid cast and cool visuals, but is nothing more than a buffer before Endgame. Speaking of, let's talk about Endgame. Weekly film, number 12, Avengers Endgame. We're in the Endgame now. We've used that quote twice. This movie. Oof. Let's talk about it. The plot. 5 years after the event of Infinity War, the remaining heroes of the Decimation must find a way to recollect all 6 Infinity Stones via time travel to undo the devastation brought on by Thanos. It's a pretty solid premise that we've known for quite some time now. And are there some plot holes in here? Some. And it can be a little rough to plan something out in this scope, right? But relative to the scope of this movie, I thought the writing was pretty great. I thought it was pretty good. And really, it has a lot to do with the characters. It has a lot to do with a lot of our Avengers, coming back on screen, right? And for guys and gals who have been part of this universe for a decade, more than a decade, their story arcs all kind of culminate in this movie, and it's culminated to this movie, and a lot of it kind of ends with this movie. But again, all I'm trying to say is that this had a lot of excellent character arcs for all of our original Avengers that we see in the first Avengers film years ago, 7 years ago already. But Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, Chris Evans as Captain America, Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk, Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye, Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, Don Cheadle as War Machine, Bradley Cooper as Rocket. Of course, it's a huge ensemble cast of people who do make appearances and have lines, but the main cast that we spend a majority of time with on screen is fantastic. We get some excellent, like I said, into some character arcs, and it's just so goddamn satisfying, some of these. I would say just really a majority of these. I mean, maybe the Hawkeye arc end was a little too happy. Oh, we got reunited with the family, but 5 years of just murdering people, Hawkeye. Ugh. Iron Man's death was probably one of the most touching things from Endgame. But really, for me, of course I cried during the Iron Man scene. Are you fucking kidding me? But for me, the character arc that I loved, I thought the Russo brothers did so well doing this arc, was Captain America. to finally close off Captain America's arc with that ending, with the way he time travels, all that shit, which I will get into later. But that ending where he goes back with Peggy Carter was beautiful. And there was no post-credit scenes, which is because the fucking final shot of this movie is a perfect ending to the first Avenger. Let's really think about this. Captain America, despite how many times I didn't really like, I said I didn't like the first movie when it came out, and then falling in love with the second movie, then being kind of, but meh about Civil War, this was finally the moment where I said this was beautiful. Like, I can't believe I'm saying goodbye to Captain America. This is a fucking bummer. But I thought it was amazing. I thought that ending and character arc was fantastic. And I stress about how great the characters were, and character arcs what made this movie so damn good, because it's predicated on the fans and the movie goer to understand and be invested into this universe, to appreciate all these character arcs more. And you know what? As a fan of this film universe for the last 11 years, I could definitively say Captain America's ending was perfect, albeit a lot of question marks in it, and again, which we will get to. But let's talk about some of the visuals in this movie. Some of the best visual effects in this series of 22 movies I've ever seen. Yes, and that even includes Doctor Strange, because the way everything just kind of set itself up in the movie, it really feels like the culmination of all those 22 movies went into just creating this visual orgasm in Endgame. And shout out to Trent Opalak, because the cinematography in this film was superb. I think it captured every bits and part of it. We felt the emotions. We were riding the waves of the feelings of everybody in the squad. And it's only, furthered by the music that is the god of Alan Silvestri, right? Alan freaking Silvestri, god of Alvin Silvestri. The god of soundtrack music, Alan Silvestri. Let's say that instead. The god of soundtrack music, Alan Silvestri, does it again. You need not say more. Fucking epic, timely, and just gorgeous. The guy does it all. The guy does it all. He captures feelings, and it's just a great package there. It's a miscellaneous shit about this movie that I just want to get out a couple of things on in my brain here. This movie is a comic book fan's wet dream. There's no way to get around that. There is a part of me that says, as a comic book fan, this is probably the best thing I will ever see on screen. Period. Right? And this is where also, diehard DC fans would be extremely jealous that Justice League couldn't even hold a fucking candle to that shit. And I'm a huge fan of DC Comics. I really am. I love reading DC Comics and all the things there. But yeah, even I can admit Justice League was a fucking trash movie. It was fucking awful. And Endgame and really all the other Avengers movies is just miles. It's not even miles. Light years better than Justice League. And I know it's an unfair argument, but that's basically what Justice League was trying to do. We're going to be the Avengers. Like, no, you didn't create a universe over the last 11 years. And really, this is why I say this is an ultimate, comic book nerd's dream, because it is the culmination of 11 years, 22 films into this final piece. And I often say I love great movies, and when I walk out of the theater, I say, this fucking movie is perfect. But you nitpick. You kind of have to nitpick to not get so sheepish. And so, despite my love for this movie, I'm not so crazy about the time travel paradox that is created in the end, nor the time travel logic in this movie. Not too crazy about it. And Mark Ruffalo's character Hulk explains it, but I'm still at this point of like, all right, I might need to go watch this movie 2, 3, 4 more times to figure out what the fuck is going on. Because after setting the parameters of time travel, Captain America done traveled to the past and lived in the past to be in the present. When Hulk said you can't alter the past, which is like, what the fuck are we talking about here? Is everybody taking crazy pills? I don't know. I mean, there's so many questions and confusions with the whole time travel thing, but if you just watch it without questioning shit, it's beautiful, it's great. But that time travel shit really fucked me up a little bit. And honestly, even after watching it once, I don't think it's adequate enough to give a definitive score, right? So the score I'm going to give now, it's going to be based on my initial reaction. Right? I've only watched this movie once, and it was Thursday. This was a couple days ago. And I just wrote the review right now. So I'm trying to make time to watch this movie at least 2-3 more times. And so for me right now, Avengers Endgame is an 8.5 out of 10. Avengers Endgame is a film experience from the culmination of the 22 films before bringing it to the epic finale we all deserved and wanted. But you said it's a fucking great, perfect movie. Yeah. I'm saying this as a comic book fan. If you're probably a film fan, you'd be like, oh my god, it's Avengers. But at the same time, like, you feel a little left out because all the subtle moments, it's whoop, just flies over some people's heads. But again, I have to rewatch it. I want to rewatch it again and just get a more solid number for myself, at least. So there you have it, guys. The 3 weekly films, and now on to 3 weekly albums. You didn't know I was going to do 3 of these fucking things, did you? That's what I told you. I told you in the beginning. Buckle up. We're going to be in here for a long fucking time. And the albums definitely have to be 3 too. 3 writings, 3 films, 3 albums. So let's get to it, guys. Fly Times, Volume 1. The Good Fly Young, Wiz Khalifa. Fun titty bit. I mean, damn. Wiz Khalifa is just pumping these albums out like it's nothing. He's just like, oh, albums. Easy, baby. Great shit. And also shout out to Cardo, DJ Fresh, and Young Deji, and I'm pretty sure others for playing a major role in the production of a lot of these tracks on the album. And for me, guys, the favorite track here is Chevy Bars, featuring Chevy Woods. Just bars, baby. Just bars. It's simple, fantastic, and I could just ease into it. You just get to witness the skills of what Wiz can do. Dude's awesome. And for me, the med track has to be What You Deserve featuring Young Deji. It's hard to pick a med track when I feel there is this isn't a bad album, right? Or there isn't really a bad meh song, but I force my own hands here. And meh because I got nothing special to talk about with it. It just, that's what meh really is. Just meh, speechless. And so I leave you with the stock chorus for this album. With the power of cannabis, Wiz Khalifa churns out another album bringing the relaxing but intense vibes. And definitely worth checking out. Album of the week, number 11. Crash Talk, Schoolboy Q. Fun titty bit. Haven't listened to a Schoolboy Q album in quite some time. So I figured, why not do it today? New track is out. Or new album's out. And so my favorite track of this album became 5200. Schoolboy Q's showcasing track, in my opinion. Minimalist background, music with solid rhymes. Like, this dude can just chop, 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 and he does it really well. And I like his style, and that's what gravitates me towards him whenever I listen to him. Except for the mid track, which is Chopsticks featuring Travis Scott. Not bad, but it just felt bland as hell for me. Maybe it's Travis Scott, but I just really didn't feel this one. And I'll leave you with this thought chorus for this album, guys. Schoolboy Q brings on his signature flair with other renowned hip-hop artists on a very solid album. So, definitely worth another listen, right? I say this to all the albums, most of the albums, except one. I remember one album I just completely shitted on. I don't remember which one, but it's out there. It is out there, but I completely shitted on it. But let's move on to weekly. It's album of the week, number 12. But it is weekly. And despite the 2 hip-hop albums, we have decided to go with Latino music. Gangali. It's probably Gangali, right? Farruko. Fun titty bit. Kids, you know damn well I don't know Spanish. But goddamn, I cannot help myself with Latin music. I just can't. It's so good. And my favorite track on this album has to be Resort. To me, this is the track that represents the simultaneous chill and hype vibe of Farruko. And where the Met track comes in is Roatan, because I wasn't crazy about how the track stood out as the happy, corny song, despite me not understanding Spanish. Too much happiness is it's a little irky for me in a song. But hey, Farruko brings a very cool vibe, that is equal parts just relaxer and also just a intensifier. And I said that with the other album, but this brings on the more Latin music feel. Obviously, it's not fucking hip hop, but it brings about it in its own way, which is actually really cool. I mean, that's why, kids, with the albums of the week, what I encourage everybody to do is listen to different genres that they don't usually go out for. And I know one of these days I will bear through a country album for a review on this goddamn, podcast. Maybe modern day country. I can't do modern country, but we'll figure something out, because variety in music is always good for your brain. And speaking of the variety in music, we have to talk about the Life is Beautiful festival that is coming up, that announced their lineup. And our annual trip to the heart of downtown Las Vegas in September will be fucking epic. I got my early bird general admission ticket. So this time around, I have to stress so fucking, late and 6 months in advance. Prior preparation prevents poor performance, which is ironic as shit, because I barely got, this episode done on time, and I did it literally the last minute. But we got it. We in. So guys, next week on the Sky Lounge, it's gonna be May. Actually, it's gonna be May in about 2-3 hours. So, folks, that about does it for me. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Make sure you are subscribed on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Music for a new episode every Tuesday. Make sure to follow me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook at The Sky Lounge. Stalk me on Snapchat at DA13IG5VUNG.